Now we're going to Alison Farmer next. Alison is head of SEN in Camden, and we're delighted to have Alison with us, as we have a long-standing partnership with Camden from Treehouse, and I believe, well, I know that it was where Treehouse was first established, and we continue to work well with Camden today. Alison will tell us what all these changes might mean for local authorities and how their role will change. Alison.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm going to start by saying these are very uncertain times for all of us, but for local authorities in particular, they're uncertain times. So I don't know whether I have the answers, and I certainly have some more questions. Local authorities' duties are to work in partnership with schools and other providers to promote the highest standards of education for all young people, including those with SEN and vulnerable young people, for example, children who are looked after. For children with SEN, particularly those with the most complex needs, local authorities' duties are to find appropriate provision, to take account of parents' preferences, but also to ensure that there is effective and efficient use of public sector resources. That's the current position, and one of the questions we're asking ourselves, does that change in the future or not? We also have, which I think may be a challenge in the future, is strategic responsibility for knowing who are the young people with special educational needs in our community. Do we know how many, for example, children there are going to be in 2015, 2016 with profound and multiple learning difficulties as a result of, for example, changes in medical provision, and have we planned for them? And that's currently the position, but is that going to be the position in the future, and how easy is that going to be for us? Sometimes for some people, and some people in the audience here may be thinking actually the local authority is always my worst enemy, and some of you may be thinking actually the local authority was very helpful to me. So just to sort of give a bit of background, in the best case scenario, local authorities and parents work in partnership. They support bringing together of health provision, speech and language therapy, occupational therapy into a plan which is a statement of special educational needs, and parents have a choice of special or mainstream school, and the child makes progress. But in the worst case scenario, parents and the local authority can find themselves in battle zones, and children with special educational needs can find themselves finding it very difficult to find school placements. And one of the things in looking at the new school system and thinking about the local authority role is thinking about, will the new school system enable that best of all situations to be the case for most young people, or will it be the latter? And the introduction of academies and preschools into the school marketplace, if you like, I think presents some opportunities for local authorities to maintain their role as champions of children with the most complex needs. And in particular, we welcome the proposal that for excluded children, schools are going to be responsible for those young people beyond the time that they're in that school, and that's something we would welcome happening. We also welcome the proposal that schools report on the lowest attaining pupils and their progress. It's too often focusing on those young people who are making the greatest progress and the highest achievements, and actually, just as we would say, you can judge a society by the way it treats and helps the weakest members, some people would say that. I think you can judge a school by their effectiveness with those pupils who have the most challenge in their education, and I think we need to be applauding that and giving schools an opportunity to celebrate that when they're doing that, but also make it clear when schools aren't doing that, that's something they need to be looking towards doing. The challenge, of course, for local authorities with academies is admissions. We have already found that a challenge for children with SEN, and it has been quite stressful for some of our parents in the local authority in which I work, and we would hope that that is addressed in any future legislation in the SEN Green Paper, which I know clearly indicates that parents have a choice of all state-funded schools. The other issue which I can see being a challenge, and I have no answer for at the moment, but we'll work with it. If you're strategically planning within a local authority for a community of children with SEN, how does that work within the context of a fragmenting and changing environment in terms of the providers? we're going to have to work in partnership, and we're going to have to work closely, and that's something we'll have to work at, and we'll have to work at together, I think. And I think being invited today to this event, I hope, is a signal of working in partnership with a non-maintained special school, Treehouse, which we know is excellent, and to the benefit of local authority and the school themselves. The thing that I didn't mention about Academy is I am hoping that it does provide an opportunity to innovate within the school system, to provide some very different ways of working with children with SEN and others. To move on to the Green Paper, so in terms of local authority response, local authorities are pleased that the Green Paper signals a continuing strategic responsibility for championing for children with complex SEN, vulnerable children within a community. We see that as our role as local authorities. Quite clearly, local authorities are being slimmed down in terms of their provision, but we would hope and expect that we would have a role in the assessment process, and we welcome the opportunity of that being streamlined and being less bureaucratic. And we also welcome the proposal to take the notion of special educational needs beyond 16, beyond 19 to 25. It's quite clear you need to plan for children with SEN right into adulthood, and the local authority welcomes that. Local authorities are concerned that there will be adequate funding for children with SEN in the future, and they're concerned that currently there's no signal in changing in legislation for healthcare, and we would want that to be the case. We want health to be an active contributor, and their legislative framework to support that, as for social care as well. So the context is changing for local authorities, and local authorities will need to continue to develop. We would hope to do that, and we'd hope to continue to be champions for children and plan for them strategically, so that we can ensure that within the local community there is local provision that meets needs and enables parents to have more control than they currently do, and help their young people make progress.
Thank you very much indeed, Alison.